Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game series against the Boston Red Sox. Good evening, everybody. From Minute Maid, Bill Brown along with Alan Ashby, Julia Morales rejoining us tonight for the first of 3 between these two. And the Astros, Ash, who acquitted themselves very well, winning 2 of 3 over the weekend, now go into a stretch, the Red Sox, and then a couple of very difficult opponents coming up after this.
Boston Red Sox did not play well recently. The Angels swept them a series, and they scored just 4 runs in 4 games. But the Red Sox were much better against the Astros. A couple of weeks ago, the Boston Red Sox able to take 2 of 3 in that one. You've got Kansas City coming up, and then the Angels, who are currently in first place in the West. So some big games coming up on the schedule.
And this weekend, the Astros, with crowds numbering 115,000 for the 3 games, first since '09 for the Astros here, really played a spirited series against the Texas Rangers. They got out the home run bats and also hit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, that home run leading team brought out the big bats, and Carlos Correa got some of that going with that monster drive to left center field. Hank Conger goes to the oppo as he picks up a big home run for the club. And it is nice when they're able to hit the long ball. It does tend to lead to a lot of wins for the club. They had a lot better success with runners in scoring position. Recently, they have been miserable in 7 games, hitting 128. The last couple of games, 350. And some of the larger-known suspects there coming up with the big hits. Luis Valbuena had a huge game in that final game against the Texas Rangers. It all added up to the offense coming alive once again, and some spirited hope now as the Red Sox come in for 3.
Coming up. Heating up, emotions are running high, and the pressure is intensifying as the playoff race turns toward the season's finish line. The Astros got a big taste of that intensity this weekend. How did they handle their first dose of playoff fever? We'll discuss in just a few minutes. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Coming up, Vintensity. A new and improved Vince Velasquez will be taking the mound tonight after an extended All-Star break. But has the improvement been more physical or mental? Ash and I crunch the numbers when we come back.
Astros fans, you see him there filling in and expecting to see another exciting series from a team that showed a lot of spirit this past weekend. That Rangers series ended with a win. Dallas Keuchel getting the W, who was outstanding, very dominant, coming just one day after a dust-up between the two rivals, and he did what an ace does. He was out there, controlled the game, shut them down, a career-high 13 strikeouts. Well, it impressed not only everybody that was in the ballpark, but the team as well. And the catcher, Jason Katcher, with our Geico quote of the day, said he was definitely kind of channeling that energy toward his stuff, which is the right way to go about it. That's the kind of attitude you want out of your starting pitcher. You want a bulldog out there who wants the ball. We've seen competitive Keuchel. He doesn't show a ton of emotion while he's out there, but you see him right there, barking at Delino DeShields, a rookie, telling him to sit down after a strikeout, and then staring down Ruben Odor after a strikeout there. He was dominant and showing a lot to the young starting pitchers who are on this starting staff, including Lance McCullers. And the guy that's going today, Vince Velasquez, who's had some struggles controlling his emotions as he gets out there on the mound. So we'll see how he fares tonight as he takes the mound for the first time in a couple of weeks. But his ERA definitely different in those first couple of innings compared to working after the first two innings. We will see him in just a few moments. So Brownie Nash, I'm going to send it up to you with more on the starting pitcher for tonight.
Thanks, Julia. Good to have you back. And as Vince Velasquez gets ready to take the mound, we have looked at these numbers, Ash, and it's for 6 major league starts, so not to make too much of this, but perhaps it has taken him a while to settle in. Maybe he's too fastball dependent. You talked about some of those foul balls. It's been tough for him sometimes to finish off hitters because major league hitters tend to get just a little piece sometimes of a fastball that would be a swing and a miss in minor leagues.
Pretty amazing when you're talking about a guy maybe being too tough in the first couple of innings for hitters to make contact, put it in play, and get some outs that way. Just a load of fastballs fouled off for Vince Velasquez. But he has the other pitches to go with it. There's that tendency early in ball games to utilize a lot of fastballs. Velasquez has taken a little off of that, it would seem, in his most recent 3 starts, gotten the ball put in play. You can see in the first 3 starts, the number of foul balls up in the upper right quadrant in each case, 32% in those first 3 starts, and the last 3 down to 22%. So he's had a big improvement of getting away from those foul balls that have upped the pitch count and caused Vincent Velasquez maybe not to be able to go as deep in a ball game as he otherwise might have. Stuff is very good. My question tonight, after at least a couple of weeks of not pitching in a ball game, how sharp might he be?
First 2 innings, that ERA is 6 and then 3.60 afterwards. He's been working in particular, according to reports, on his slider, a pitch he has not thrown very much in his bullpen sessions at AA Corpus Christi.
He's got a very good changeup. And again, a fastball that in the minor leagues was reported to get up to around 100 miles an hour. We haven't seen that yet. We have seen up to about 97 on occasions, typically in about that 93, 94 range. Velasquez has big-time, big league stuff. Can he corral it and become one of those big-time major league pitchers? Time will tell.
Starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox begins with the exciting center fielder Mookie Betts. He's in center field with Dustin Pedroia at second base, batting second. Then it's shortstop Xander Bogaerts, David Ortiz, the DH, Hanley Ramirez in left field, Pablo Sandoval at third base, Brock Holt at first base, Alejandro De Aza in right field, Ryan Hannigan, the catcher. A number of these Red Sox hitters have robust batting averages against the Houston Astros. They really hit well as a team, winning 2 out of 3 from the Astros in Boston earlier this month. The Red Sox scoring 19 runs in those 3 games. Mookie Betts at 265 has 10 homers, 43 runs batted in. Hitless, though, in his last 4 games. That had not happened to him in his brief major league career. He has scored 20 runs since June 20th. That's tied for second in the majors. Luis Valbuena's pinching in at third base. Marwin Gonzalez well off the line at the edge of the grass at first. There is strike 1. Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire, rings it up for the 23-year-old right-hander Vince Velasquez from Pomona, California, shooting for his first major league win. And a breaking pitch is a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's that slider or some version of breaking ball that you were talking about, and it looked pretty good.
Fastball is crisp and in for strike 2. You know, Ash, the Astros are trying to manage the innings for Vince Velasquez. Last year he had only 77 and a third innings. The year before 124. He's at 58 and a third for this season so far. And on a sharp breaking ball, there's a check swing by Betts, 2-2. Just thinking though, he got this time off to avoid accumulating those innings at this stage of the season, but the time off might help him if he was able to polish that breaking pitch.
Yeah, it could prove to be beneficial there. What I'm curious, I wish I had been able to see the throwing sessions. Did he crank it all the way up? And if he did, does that become any different than pitching in a ball game? Hard to say, but you're as an organization, you're always trying to make these arms last as long as possible.
Fastball in the air to center field. Jake Marisnick waiting. That's out number one.
Defensively behind Vince Velasquez tonight for the Astros. In the outfield, it's Evan Gattis getting the start in left. Jake Marisnick, as you saw in center field, L.J. Hosen right. Infield left side, Luis Valbuena and Carlos Correa. On the right, Jose Altuve and Marwin Gonzalez. Hank Conger is the catcher tonight.
Dustin Pedroia was on the disabled list when the Astros were in Boston earlier this month. Pedroia has returned from that injury a few days ago and is taking ball one. At 292, he has 9 homers, 33 runs batted in, and a .354 on base average for Pedroia. And the former MVP takes a strike, 1-1. He won that award in 08 for Boston. He was Rookie of the Year. The year before, he's had quite a career after being drafted in the second round in 04. 30 years old now. An Arizona State product.
It's 2 fastballs to laser show right at 95. There you go at 97. So you get the idea. Velasquez can flat bring it. Now it's corralling that stuff.
Pedroia has a .449 career batting average against the Astros for 19 games with a .522 on base average. That's in the air, and Marisnick moves over. That had some hang time, and it's out number 2. Xander Bogaerts follows. The Red Sox were swept, as Ash mentioned, in that 4-game series in Anaheim. They scored a total of 4 runs. They were shut out in the first 2 games of the series and then were swept in the doubleheader yesterday, a long day-night thing. Xander Bogaerts at .309 has 3 homers, 44 runs batted in. They opted for a different way of traveling. They spent the night there in Anaheim, got up early about 7 this morning, and traveled all day to get to Houston, coming straight to the ballpark before they even went to the hotel. That's ball 1 to Bogaerts.
That's a Red Sox team, Brownie, that's lost 5 in a row, 6 of 7. And I can't imagine any of the players popping off and complaining under those circumstances, especially when the Red Sox now look like they're quickly out of the race.
That's a strike, and it's 1-1. They are 9 games out of first place. Their .452 winning percentage is tied for the lowest winning percentage in the American League with Seattle. And they're 8.5 out of the second wild card spot. So yes, it would be tough to call yourself a contender with those circumstances. That's a shot deflected, but it's going to be a hit. It's kicked by Altuve on into left field. It's not only a hit, but it's going to be a double for Bogaerts. Altuve trying to backhand it, didn't make the clean pickup, and then the ball glanced off his appeared to be his right leg and was kicked further on out into left field. It is a double for Bogaerts, his 21st.
It's one of the most unusual doubles you will see. Right off the end of the bat, though. And again, that breaking ball coming into play a little more here in the first inning for Velasquez than we've seen. Soccer play. It is big right now.
21st 2-base hit for Bogaerts. He's aboard for Big Papi David Ortiz, the 39-year-old slugger. He has 16 homers this year, 45 runs batted in. The infield shifts around. That puts Altuve in shallow right field. Fastball is right there, strike 1, and Velasquez threw that one like he meant it. That was clocked at 94.
Ronnie, you mentioned the Red Sox record at 42-51. They're tied with Seattle. Same mark, worst record in the American League.
It's 1-1 with those .452 winning percentages for the Red Sox and the Mariners. That's the bottom of the league, so it's a very well balanced American League this season.
Took it back to spring training time, you'd find that a lot of people pick those two teams to win their divisions.
Very interesting. That's a slider in for a strike, and it's 1-2 on Ortiz. Velasquez did not pitch in Boston, so the Red Sox get their first look at him tonight.
Let's take a look at our Super Mo presented by Mattress Firm. There's that good looking breaking ball. And I like what we're seeing early on here from Vince Velasquez. Not seeing the changeup, however, and he's got a good one.
Bogart's dancing off second, draws a look. That's fouled away. Ortiz hit a 2-run homer in the nightcap of the doubleheader. That was his 482nd career home run. Since the Astros moved to the American League in 2013, Ortiz has reached base either with a hit or a walk in each of his 17 games against the Astros. A .422 average, 5 homers, 25 runs batted in those 17 games. Did he check? He did check on appeal to Andy Fletcher, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Pretty close, but it looks like Ortiz holds it back. That barrel staying shy of the front of the plate.
That's fouled in a good location, right in on his hands.
See all the way that Conger wanted the last 2 pitches up on those fastballs. And a look at our strike zone presented by MD Anderson. The pitch might have been out of the strike zone. I don't know if any part of the ball caught that up and in portion of the strike zone, but very effective location, as Brownie says.
Now it's a full count.
There's your changeup. And that oftentimes will get the hitter out in front and moving the bat.
Andy Ramirez is on deck. And a strikeout ends the first for Vince Velasquez. No runs, a hit, a runner stranded. The Astros come up against lefty Brian Johnson, making his major league debut with Jose Altuve, Marwin Gonzalez, Carlos Correa next. Altuve's on a 4-game hitting streak. He's the leadoff man and second baseman. Marwin Gonzalez batting second is playing first base tonight with Carlos Correa the shortstop. Evan Gattis is in left field tonight. Luis Valbuena is the third baseman. Hank Conger the catcher batting sixth. Then it's DH Chris Carter, who's been out a few days with an ankle sprain. LJ Ho's in right and Jake Marisnick in center.
And on the mound there's the rookie major league debut Brian Johnson. 8-6 at AAA this year. Good numbers. 2.73 ERA. Last couple of years 21 wins. So guy that appeared to be right on the doorstep anyway. Comes up because of the placement of Clay Buchholz on the DL.
Strike to Jose Altuve. 293, 8 homers, 40 runs batted in for Altuve. He's tied for 8th in hits in the American League with 102. Johnson has an impressive minor league resume. He's 24. He's from the University of Florida. A curveball, which has been an excellent pitch for him, missed there, and it's 1-1. Johnson has compiled 21 wins last year and this year combined with a 2.35 ERA. Off speed, and it misses. 2-1. That's the lowest ERA for a guy who's won 20 in the minor leagues last year and this year combined. And his last outing was July 6th. Way up, and it's 3-1. And Johnson was not with the Red Sox in Anaheim. So many of his teammates probably sleep deprived, but he was not on the West Coast. He was just added to the major league roster for this game tonight. And there's a leadoff walk. Altuve's 22nd walk of the year.
Defensively for the Boston Red Sox here in the first of 3. Outfield of Hanley Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and Alejandro De Aza. Left side of the infield, Pablo Sandoval and Xander Bogaerts. He's a good one. Dustin Pedroia back in the fold now. He's in second. Brock Holt at first base. Ryan Hannigan is the catcher.
Marwin Gonzalez has certainly been serving the Astros very well. He went 2 for 6 in the Texas series, hitting .255, 6 homers, 20 runs batted in. After a road trip with a .421 batting average, 8 for 19. Altuve takes off. Good jump. Here's the throw, and not nearly in time from Hannigan. Tremendous jump by Altuve on the way to his 27th steal for the American League leader.
Yeah, that was kind of a freebie. Just a go on first move, and Altuve able to steal it easily. Tough pitch for Hannigan to deal with. Brought him up. Coming up out of the crouch is a good thing, not that far up.
Altuve's about as subtle as a punch in the mouth.
And that was a quick punch right to the jaw.
Showing bunt. Marwin looks at a strike on a curve, and it's 1-1. Skipper A.J. Hinch was talking about Marwin, and his left-handed side is his dominant side, but right-handed he's hitting .301 for 73 at bats with 22 hits. Altuve in scoring position for him. Marwin showing bunt, takes a look at it. It's a ball. 2-1.
I would go so far, Brownie, as to say that the right side of the plate has been even more impressive. Yes, the numbers would say that, but just watching the at-bats, really good, quick swing, staying right down through the baseball.
There's the breakdown on Marwin, who's come in for more playing time. Last year he hit .277. And he made 76 starts. Chris Carter is feeling much better, but DHing tonight, so he probably will be able to return to first base as early as tomorrow night, should the manager so choose. Bunted foul. 2-2 the count. The Astros have struggled to hit left-handers this year. They have a losing record in games started by southpaws. They're 18-19.
That would be hard to explain.
It is.
When you talk Altuve, typically Springer, Correa in that lineup, Chris Carter, and Jake Marisnick. It's a lineup that should handle lefties very well.
Altuve started the night hitting .330 against lefties. That was in the top 10 in the American League. That's whacked on a line into center field. Altuve's getting a stop sign on the single. Mookie Betts gets it back in. It's first and third, nobody out.
That's Mr. Utility right there, playing great baseball. You love having that great utility guy, but it is a tough job, and he's maintained it well.
There's a 2-strike swing with a good result.
See how he doesn't let the barrel of the bat get under the ball. He just brings it directly to the baseball, and that's, in my assessment, why he's being so successful.
Carlos Correa's put together a 5-game hitting streak with a .290 average. He has 8 homers, 23 runs batted in. He looks at strike one. Correa and his mates had quite a day in the 10-0 win over Texas on Sunday. Carlos was on base 4 times, 2 walks, a double and a single, and he scored 3 runs. He shoots it to center field. Mookie Betts with the leaping catch. Here's the tag at third on a scalded drive. It's a sac fly for Correa, giving him his 24th run batted in. Altuve scoring to make it 1-0.
That sac fly came pretty close to turning into a 3-bagger. And that would have been big for the club, but a lot of carry on this line shot. You can see that Betts needed everything in the end to make the play.
There's a good athlete. 1-0 and Evan Gattis bats. Correa did a wonderful job of getting that ball in the air and hitting it with some thump. Gattis with 54 runs batted in as the club leader. Marwin draws the throw. Evan in left field tonight. He normally is the DH. He has a .245 batting average. This is his 6th start in left field this year. In tight, there's ball 1. Evan Gattis last year ripped against lefties. This year he has fallen off. He was a .343 hitter with Atlanta last season against lefties. .231 against southpaws this season with a .402 slugging percentage. 2-0. Last year he had a .614 slugging rate against the southpaws.
It's that slugging part of the equation that, to me, is the big part of the offense. And for the Astros, you talked about the numbers being down against left-hand pitching this year. They're actually hitting a skosh better in terms of batting average and on-base percentage against lefties. But they're much better on the slugging side against the righties.
Bouncer to second. Pedroia with the toss. And coming across Bogarts for a 4-6-3 double play. 1 run, 1 hit, nobody left. Houston 1, Boston 0.
When you win, every time the Astros win on a Tuesday, you get 50% off your pizza order on Wednesday at Papa John's. Use promo code Astros at papajohns.com. Vince Velasquez back to work after working around a double in that last one, striking out David Ortiz to end the inning. While he was off, not making a start since July 7th. He had several bullpens down in Double-A Corpus Christi, working with pitching coach Doug Brocail down there. Guys were talking about it earlier. One of the things he did work on was the pace, the time between throwing each pitch. Also, that slider, something he's worked on. He brought that in about a month ago, trying to get guys off of his fastball, but we've already seen it today, something maybe he's a little more comfortable with after working with Brocail during that time. But hopefully picking up the pace. It will be tough, though, against this Boston Red Sox team. Not exactly known for being aggressive and being quick.
They do see an awful lot of pitches, more than any other major league team this year so far. Thanks, Julia. Hanley Ramirez up first here in the second inning. Hanley's attacking first pitch, putting it in the air. Coming over is L.J. Hose, but out of room. Strike one to Ramirez, a .261 hitter with 19 homers, 46 runs batted in. They get the early souvenir. Hanley, 31 years old. He began his career in the Boston organization in 2000. And as you can see, he has slugged .474 this season. So hitting with some pop. And he showed the Astros that pop when he hit 2 home runs in the 3-game series against Houston in Boston. He drove in 4. In the final game of this series, he hit a game-winning homer off Tony Sipp in the 7th inning. It rides up high, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And Boston, after developing Ramirez, traded him to Florida in 2005 in the Josh Beckett deal. He moved along to the Dodgers in another trade in 2012 and signed to return to Boston on a 4-year deal as a free agent last winter. Former shortstop, now a left fielder. Good high heat makes it 1-2 on Hanley Ramirez.
Something is working right now. Maybe mixing in that slider. And again, haven't seen a lot of the changeup, but the fastball is not being fouled off. They're either putting it in play with lazy fly balls early or swinging and missing, and that's a good sign.
Upstairs, and it's 2-2. Ramirez has a .367 career average against the Astros in 44 games with a .656 slugging percentage. Kenny Lofton has the all-time batting average against the Astros, .373 for a career. And Ramirez is second all-time in average against the Houston club. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Vince Velasquez, number 2.
Well, I guess there was no reason for fear that Velasquez might not be sharp as he sits out of action in terms of game time. A couple of weeks missing, but he is on the money here early.
No contact at all there. The Panda's coming up now, the third sacker. He made the move as a free agent from the Giants to the Red Sox over the winter. There's strike one to him. He's laid on the heater. .266, 7 homers, 30 runs batted in. But between Ramirez and Sandoval, both of whom signed multi-year deals, there was a shell out of about $200 million on the part of the Red Sox to acquire these 2 players. No balls, 2 strikes. The Red Sox deem these 2 guys, Ramirez and Sandoval, to be premium hitters. And that is the hardest thing to find in the game today with all the dominant pitching around. The guys who can hit for not only a batting average but for power are really at a premium. Foul back. Might be getting tired of these numbers, but Sandoval's hitting .347 for a career against the Astros. And several of the Boston hitters have really excelled down through the seasons. But Vince Velasquez is not a part of these numbers. Foul back. Still 0-2 with Brock Holt on deck. Red Sox are 20-28 on the road. They'll be returning home after this 3-game series. They've altered their rotation from what we were given a couple of days ago. Joe Kelly moves back into that rotation tomorrow night against Colin McHugh. And a strikeout makes it 3 in a row for Vincent Velasquez.
Nice slider to get the strikeout.
Look at these batting averages, Ash.
Since 2014, Brian Hannigan, he's the man in the lead. Of course, he had a big game in Boston in that 3-game series just a couple of weeks ago. Brock Holt has been an Astros killer with the bats, or with the bat. Mookie Betts, he's a good player. And Dustin Pedroia, we know about him. Laser Show can put it on against anybody.
Brock Holt, the All-Star, takes a look at it. It's strike one. The only All-Star for the Red Sox. 286 his average, 2 homers, 22 runs batted in for one of the handiest players around, finding himself at first base tonight. He played 7 positions last year. No balls, 2 strikes. Brock Holt from Rice University was born in Stephenville, Texas. And he had 379 in the NCAA tournament in 2009 for Rice. He was the leadoff man for the Owls. Good breaking pitch. Velasquez strikes out the side. He has whipped 4 in a row. It's 1-0 Houston. Really wonderful to have an air-conditioned ballpark. And KBR Plaza right out there showing the Biggio and Bagwell statues. All the anticipation continuing to build for Craig Biggio's big weekend in Cooperstown, New York. Luis Valbuena leads it off, bottom of the 2nd inning. With 19 homers to lead the club and 40 runs batted in. That pitch up and in from Brian Johnson. There's ball 1. Valbuena boosted that batting average some 10 points by going 4 for 5 on Sunday. He drove in 4. That's in for a strike, and it's 1-1. AJ Hinch loved the singles from Valbuena. He had 3 singles in that game and a double. Strike makes it 1-2.
Got to stop hitting those long balls, young man. We need some singles.
That was a career high for him. The 4 hits on Sunday and the 4 runs batted in matched a career high. It's 2-2. Jed Lowry's going out on a rehab assignment tomorrow. He'll be playing tomorrow night for Corpus Christi. The plan is to play him at third base tomorrow night. Play 5 or 6 innings, hit near the top of the lineup. Flick foul, and then he'll have a day off Thursday at play again Friday night. Not sure what the plan is as far as how long Jed Lowry will be with Corpus Christi. Dave Hudgens, the Astros hitting coach, said in cases like Jed's, normally it's 30 or 40 at bats to get everything built up again for major league play. Roll to first base where Holt takes it unassisted, 1 out. Celebrate Craig Biggio at the Biggio Hall of Fame weekend. It's presented by Coca-Cola from July 31st to August 2nd. On Saturday, August 1st, 10,000 fans will receive a Craig Biggio replica pinstripe jersey. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS today. Big weekend coming up. Hank Conger, the batter. Strike one for Hank, 233, 6 homers, 14 runs batted in. Getting a promotion to the number 6 spot in the lineup. He looks at the curve, and it's 1-1. Of course, he and Jason Castro have been sharing the catching chores. Hank's hitting 167 right-handed, 9 for 54. Fouls that one in. It's 1-2 to Conger. Conger had a 2-run homer Saturday against the Rangers in that wild one. It's 2-2.
Yeah, he did the Crawford box thing, batting left-handed, and that's a great thing for left-hand hitters in this yard.
He rolls that one foul. Among American League catchers with at least 120 plate appearances, Yankees third in OPS, 836. Brian Johnson pitched 85 2/3 innings at AAA Pawtucket and allowed just 6 homers. Off the plate, and is 3-2. His University of Florida teammate Preston Tucker is not in the lineup tonight to face him, but talked in glowing terms about Johnson, how good he was at Florida for the Gators. That's a walk to Conger, number 2 for Johnson. Julia?
Hey guys, yeah, Brian Johnson, Preston Tucker go way back. Played together 2010 through 2012. I say way back. These guys are so young. Playing on that Florida team, going to the College World Series, became really, really good friends. Johnson and Mike Zunino actually lived together at the time, so all 3 of them really close. But Preston said he texted Brian today earlier before the game, found out he wasn't playing, wasn't in the lineup, and Brian Johnson said, "Thank goodness, because I probably would have lost it on the mound." That's the kind of relationship they have. Good friends, guys.
Yeah. There's ball 1 to Chris Carter, the DH tonight. Chris has missed a few games with a sprained right ankle. 185, 15 homers, 41 runs batted in. Trying to snap an 0 for 20. L.J. Ho's on deck. Two 2-0. Chris Carter came in yesterday on his day off to do some hitting off a tee. Proclaimed himself ready to go. He thinks that DHing tonight will help him to get that one more day to where he can be more effective at first base. But the fact that he probably won't do a whole lot of running will help him to get that recovery. He wouldn't mind jogging around the bases a few times.
Just going to say that's a perfect setup for one of those nights where you hit 2 triples and a couple of doubles.
If he hits 2 triples, he's going after Evan Gaddiston. Good cut there. Green lighting on 3-0. He takes a nice swing, and it's 3-1 to Carter. A very difficult stretch for the big man. Nice Tuesday night crowd. Red Sox Nation usually shows up in pretty good numbers here. That's ball 4. Carter taking the walk to make it the 3rd of the night for Johnson, who will be visited by not only his battery mate Hannigan, but Sandoval and Pedroia are coming in. L.J. Holes will be the batter. L.J. came up and started the final game before the All-Star break in Tampa Bay. Went 2 for 4. That rated him another start. First came back from the break, and he had a hit and an RBI against Texas Friday night. And now he gets a third start. He is 3 for 8. Good contact hitter who was hitting for a nice batting average for AAA Fresno. And that's strike one. The Astros are third in runs scored in the American League with 414. They're averaging 4.4 runs. Boston has the highest ERA in the American League, 4.45. 1 ball, 1 strike. As you mentioned, Ash, they were picked, the Red Sox were, by some to win the AL East. To make it a last to first rebound.
I think a lot of people thought the Red Sox were going to slug their way through the American League this year. Question marks about the pitching staff, and those have proven to be maybe underplayed.
1-2.
The slow curveball has been ineffective for the good part early on for Johnson, but now a couple of good ones to LJ Hose.
There's a line shot to left field. Ramirez over, and on a backhand play, he comes up with it. 2 outs. Hanley Ramirez has had his troubles playing left field this year, but made a nice catch there.
There are some of the nights where you feel like early on you have a chance to put away the opposition. LJ hangs out a laser to left field. It's hauled in, as was the shot hit by Correa in the first inning that resulted in a sac fly. But well, if you get 1 or 2 of those, you're quickly off to the races.
With 2 men on, it's Jake Marisnick batting. That's ball 1. Marisnick, a .234 hitter with 5 homers, has driven in 21. Ryan Johnson was drafted with a supplemental pick after the first round in the 2012 draft. 1 ball, 1 strike. Born in Lakeland, Florida. Played at Cocoa Beach as he grew up. Coming into this season, he was ranked by Baseball America as the number 5 Red Sox prospects, and number 1 for their system in control and curveball. One and 2 to Marisnick.
Well, we are seeing a lot of the curveball, but I will say again, it's been generally ineffective. He's starting to find the feel, though, but even that curveball called a strike is what you would generally call a hanger.
Foul back. When he made his pro debut in 2012, he took a line drive off the face. That derailed him for a while, and then the next year he had shoulder tendonitis. But last season, between High A Salem and Double A Portland, he really had a fine year. In the air to right. Piazza backing. Back-to-back walks do not derail Ryan Johnson. Vince Velasquez heads out with a 1-0 lead in the 3rd.
Honda dealer. This Astro was an original Colt 45 bonus baby. He's the second Major League player ever with 150 games as a teenager, 6-time All-Star, nicknamed Le Grand Orange. Orange. Am I saying that French enough for you guys?
Yes. All right. Yeah. Well, you could be a little more French than that. Have you had French in school?
Have I had? No, I did not take French. I took Spanish.
Okay.
I'll work on it.
So how would you kind of roll the R in Spanish? Orange, right? We'll work on our French.
How would you do it in French? What's the proper etiquette for serving that one?
We need to get more people involved in this discussion to answer your question. Strike one to Alejandro De Aza, 261, 6 homers, 26 runs batted in. Le Grand Orange was growing up in the New Orleans area, and the Colt 45s were targeting him. Oh boy, did they want to sign him and pay him a lot of money. That was smack foul by De Aza, 0-2. Paul Richards was the general manager at the time. There was a story that there was a hurricane approaching Houston, and he had planned to fly from Houston to New Orleans, but that flight was canceled. So he drove to Dallas and flew from there to New Orleans. He was so anxious to sign Le Grand Orange. We're not going to give you his name yet, but just about everybody knows by now who he is.
If anybody misses that one, shame on you.
Oh, yeah. It's a liner over Altuve into right field. A leadoff single on the 0-2 pitch for De Aza.
Vince Velasquez already 4 strikeouts on the night. Watch him blow some cheese right on by, right over the bat of Hanley Ramirez. Then he turns to that newly found slider. See that circle in the back of the ball? That's the slider to get Panda. And now over the top with that yanker. So he's mixing in really a couple of new breaking balls. It may come on just one call tonight, but Holt saw the curveball in my estimation. Very nicely done.
34-year-old veteran catcher Ryan Hannigan steps up. Buena's even with the bag at third. Leans back for ball one. Hannigan went 3 for 3 against the Astros in Boston July 5th. Drove in 2 runs. 214, 1 homer, 9 runs batted in overall this season. But the Astros aren't facing a guy who has those numbers against them for his career.
It was all right field hitting, really pretty, but I would think they'd want to come in, and they do, and it gets raked.
A hit to left field. Gaddis will play it off the wall. Here's De Aza trotting into third base and into second. Hannigan, and now second and third, nobody out on the double by Hannigan, his 3rd of the season.
What is it about this game? You got a guy, I believe at the start of that Boston series, I think Hannigan was hitting about $160. Picked up those hits to right field, and now they try to come in with this good fastball, and it gets turned around in a hurry. And I never will understand why one guy will pick out one team and just tear them apart.
Well, he's done that to the Astros. He was hitting .348 lifetime against Houston before that swing. Middle infielders are staying back for Mookie Betts now. That's in tight. Betts worked the count full, hit a fly ball to center field leading off the game. Marwin Gonzalez at the edge of the grass at first. He could make a play on De Aza at the plate if the ball's hit to him on the ground. And time is called. So when Paul Richards arrived in New Orleans and negotiated with the family of Le Grand Orange, he wound up signing not only Le Grand but his brother to a contract. Way outside. 2-0.
There must have been some kind of impressive meeting at the house that night.
Yeah, you could just imagine. Well, what about his cousin?
It's really bad if the brother winds up getting more money than the originally sought player. Maybe he had a better agent.
And now Conger will go to the mound. What a game by Dallas Keuchel. 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. Julia talked about that earlier. His ERA right now is the best in the American League. And the Astros were able to win 2 of 3 in that series. They are now 30-17 at home.
They've won 22 of their last 30 at Minute Maid Park. Betts hits a ground ball, and that is a fair ball. It'll score Diaza, and Hannigan's coming home. Here's a throw into second, and the Red Sox lead it 2-1. On a check swing double up the right field line by Mookie Betts. 23rd double. That gives him 45 runs batted in.
No explaining this game at times. What do you say here? Any mistake made? Only mistake is by Betts leaving his bat out there, and that turns into a very nice play for the Red Sox.
Dustin Pedroia hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Pedroia looks at ball one. Both teams made player moves before this game tonight. The Astros have designated for assignment lefty reliever Joe Thatcher, so Vincent Velasquez could rejoin the club. Gives them 10 days to make a move with him. 2 balls, no strikes. Red Sox sent down backup infielder Devin Marrero, and Daniel Nava has rejoined their team, coming off the disabled list. He was out with a left thumb sprain. Pedroia hits it high to left field. It's carrying toward the seats, and unfortunately for him, it's not fair. 2 balls and a strike.
Apparently the Red Sox have discussed the fact that Vince Velasquez has a very good heater, and they are starting to get the head out. That should make that slider much more effective.
Pedroia has hit safely in all of his 12 career games in this ballpark. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pedroia is a 4-time All-Star. He's won 3 Gold Gloves. In fact, the ice cream is flowing. Dippin' Dots. Do you dip, Ash?
You know what? I don't think I've ever done that, but every time I hear about it, it sounds really good.
Outside to Pedroia, 3 balls, 2 strikes with Bogarts on deck.
Started to say yummy, but I didn't think that sounded real manly.
Red Sox are 19-7 against Houston, and that shouldn't be a big surprise to you if you've been taking in all their career batting averages against the Astros. Fastball grounded by the mound. Altuve with the throw, and Pedroia grounds out but advances Betts to third. 1 out. Now Bogarts will come up. Bogarts 5 for 12 coming into this game against the Astros this season. The infield will come in. Xander, 22 years old. He was born in Aruba. Last year he drove in 46 runs. He had 534 at bats last season. Off the end of the bat, that dunks into center field. It's an RBI single, and it's 3-1 Boston. Bogarts 2 for 2. That's his 45th run batted in.
Single and a double, hitting both balls off the end of the bat. It's a good way to start your night.
Betts home with the 3rd run of the inning. Brent Strom's coming out.
And a good slider. Yeah, I don't know what you can even say. Vince Velasquez throwing the ball very well tonight. I would say extremely sharp. And he's getting hit around here in the 3rd inning after striking out the side in the 2nd. And I don't see anything different.
Well, you bring up a very interesting point. Of course, the excuse me 2-run double by Mookie Betts really a big part of this inning. And then Bogaerts hit one off the end of the bat that got over second base and out into center field. Not a well hit ball, and that's the way baseball goes sometimes.
Really is, and I think that's about the only message you can impart there at the mound. Hey, this has happened to everybody who's ever stepped on the hill over the course of the history of the game, and your stuff is good enough to succeed. Let that happen.
Ortiz looks at ball one. He struck out in the first inning. He's been passing more Hall of Famers on the all-time home run list along the way this year. He's passed Stan Musial, Willie Stargell. Around a bunt, and that's a strike.
One thing I'll say on Vince Velasquez right now, scouts have this way of, with their own organization, and there are plenty of scouts watching this game, listing a player as acquire. Somewhere down the road you want to acquire this player. I'll guarantee you every one of them watching Vince Velasquez is saying acquire.
1-2. It's an excellent point. That's the kind of scouting that's happening around the Houston organization right now as we get closer to the trade deadline.
And you know, if some big deal is made, never know, it could have a name like Vince Velasquez in it just to create that big deal.
Foul back. 1-2. Well, it can be painful, as the Astros experienced in 1998 when they gave up that ton of talent to Seattle to get Randy Johnson. And general manager Jerry Hunsaker at the time warned that those young players, the Freddie Garcias, the Carlos Guillens, would be good for years to come in the big leagues, and they were.
Randy Johnson was good for half a year, but it was amazing.
High drive, deep center field. Marisnik back. Now we'll get a tag at first base as the ball is caught. And Bogaerts will look at the throw, come into second base, and hang on at first. He hung out a clothesline to Altuve.
And he wasn't actually back behind that ball to be able to step into it and throw. He had to just plant and cut it loose. Jake can really throw. I wouldn't put his arm among the greats of throwing, but he's really accurate on top of having a strong arm. You can see he's just able to take that one quick step and unleash a beast into second.
That's a laser shot.
Good thing I didn't go there.
Hanley Ramirez struck out in the second inning. That's strike one on the slider. Coming into this game, the numbers on Velasquez said that he had thrown his slider this season 0.2% of the time.
That number is going to go skyward.
Fastball runs in. That makes it 1-1. You talked about the scouting, and we have seen a number of scouts here for this game. As we get closer to that trade deadline, 10 days away, that will be the case for a lot of organizations. And the Astros figure to be in a position to try to acquire a veteran player for the stretch drive, maybe more than one, but we'll have to give up good young talent to do it. Foul back, 1-2.
By the way, just in case any of you people wanting to chime in on who that Astro is, it is not Mel or Ed Ott, as I have received the query on. Yes.
Le Grand Orange. Ed Ott.
Or Mel.
Well, Mel wasn't part of the organization, but nonetheless, we allow guesses of all kind. Foul back. We have a question also, now that we're checking the Twitter feed, on that play earlier, the double. Altuve kicked the ball, hit by Bogaerts in the first. The question, how is that not a single and an error on Altuve? Well, the official score ruling that it was an accidental kick and not a play that he should have made.
Degree of difficulty, I think, would be involved.
Swing and a miss. Ramirez goes down, and that's punch out number 5
But the Red Sox grab the lead with 3 runs, 4 hits, and a man left. They're up 3-1.
Wins as of right now. Well, when did they get 51, the 51st win in 2013? It was September 13th, 2013. Here's some of the highlights from that game that was right here at Minute Maid Park against the Angels. You saw Jose Altuve with a 3-run home run. That was his 5th home run of the year that came that late. And then Dallas Keuchel got the win, but gave up 6 earned runs in that game. So his ERA actually jumped to over 5 that late in the season. How times have changed here at Minute Maid Park, especially for 2 guys like Dallas Keuchel and Jose Altuve, who've come a long way in our eyes. We've seen them really grow as baseball players here in the last couple of years, guys.
We have. Thank you, Julia. Jose Altuve up at the plate, taking ball 1, bottom of the 3rd inning. He walked, stole a base, and scored the Astros run in the 1st on a Carlos Correa sacrifice fly. 3-1 Red Sox now. Johnson throws a slant, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. We're getting a lot of complaints, Julia, that our question, "Who am I?" is too easy tonight.
Too easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of complaints.
We'll remember that.
They don't want easy questions.
Our fans like to be challenged.
Yes, they do.
Mike Singletary in the middle of the huddle threw up his hands and said, "This is too easy, guys."
Altuve bounces one, and it's foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Too easy. All right. Let's see what tomorrow night brings, folks. Anthony from New York got it. So did Laura Jenkins. And Bev is back. Patrick Beverly, that is. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Stevie got it right, and so did Joey and Debbie. Jason Lyons. You mentioned Michael Singletary. He's the one who took us to task. Altuve works the count full, and Bradley Sanborn also with an emphatically good answer. So we thank all of you for answering our too easy trivia question tonight. Altuve is punched out. Strikeout number 1 in the major leagues for Brian Johnson.
Well, it's that curveball that has been rated so highly, but take the peek. It's really a big, slow roller, and again a hanger. I think Altuve just simply got caught on a 3-2, looking for probably the fastball.
Marwin Gonzalez single to center field. At strike 1. Brian Johnson has been likened to Mark Burley in terms of being a fast worker, changing speeds and changing location. And Marwin wants to slow him down a little bit.
I think Mark Burley would have thrown 3 pitches in the time of those 2 there from Johnson. He's about as quick as they come.
Johnson also played first base and DH'd and hit 12 homers at Florida. In addition to pitching 2 balls and a strike.
Give the scouts that out if he doesn't work out as a pitcher. Kid can really swing the bat.
2-2 the count. The Yankees lead the Orioles 2-1. They're in the top of the 6th at Yankee Stadium. Yankees in first place in the AL East by 4 games currently over Baltimore. On the curve, there's another strikeout. That's 2 for Johnson.
Bunch of breaking balls, a couple of curveballs involved. He did mix in a slider, but this is that over the topper. Apparently that's tough to wait on.
Carlos Correa hit the sac fly in the first inning to center field. He gets a fastball. It's off the plate for ball 1. Carlos has been working on being more selective. And the 2 walks he drew Sunday, the first multi-walk game for him as a major leaguer. It's 2-0. He's walked 9 times this season. There's only been 1 shortstop in the history of the Astros who have as many home runs as Carlos, 8 in their first 35 career games. That's since 1914. Jeff Blum. 3-1.
Blummer give you that stat?
He did. He texted that earlier today.
Man, Blummer was this good. I knew he was really good.
Strike, and it's a full count now to Correa.
That's pretty spotted on a rare fastball right now.
And a tap foul. Carlos Correa and several of his teammates were at George Springer's charity bowling event last night in downtown Houston.
It was really nice of George. The kids that have that stuttering issue.
Yes. And the curveball is working for Brian Johnson. He strikes out the side in the 3rd inning. Leads it 3-1 after 3.
Name that Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer, because it was so easy and everyone knows the answer. Let's see who it is. Rusty Straub. Okay, so he was a bonus baby. Do you guys know what a bonus baby is?
Yes.
I wonder if the viewers know what a bonus baby is. They should tweet at us and tell us what it is. That'd be a harder trivia question for these guys.
Okay, good idea, Julia. Strike one to Pablo Sandoval. A bonus baby at the time was somebody who was given a ton of money to sign by a major league club, and that was before the draft. And that's fouled away. Bob Aspromani was a bonus baby for the Brooklyn Dodgers back in the 50s, and those players had to be carried on the major league roster immediately. So he came from high school, and he had to be on the Dodgers roster. That was the penalty, so to speak, for spending all that money to sign a guy when he was so young. Ground ball to shortstop, Carlos Correa. The rules were changed after that. And that's out number one. Now, Ash, you, of course, were a bonus baby as well, right?
I was going to say I am the anti-bonus baby. So if you could find something opposite of me. So what differentiated a guy who got a ton of money and a guy who got a ton of money less $1 and didn't have to spend the whole season on the roster?
I don't know. We need to do more research on that.
Carl, we need an answer.
Yeah, see, that will be our trivia question for tomorrow night. You come up with the answer, fans, and tell us what differentiated a bonus baby, because our questions aren't tough enough.
No.
Brock Holt to batter. Here's ball one. Here is a question that we might add that's a little tougher. Who's the only man to have 500 hits for 4 different teams? And what were the 4 teams?
Wow.
Yeah. So for anyone who can answer that one on Twitter, what are we going to give that person, Ash?
Turn him into a bonus baby.
All right.
Put him on our bench next year.
We'll do that.
May not get any playing time, but he will be a bonus baby.
2 balls and a strike to Brock Holt. Slicing fly ball left field. Gaddis back. He's going to play it off the wall. He gets the carom. He fires into second base. And it's a double for Holt. And the Red Sox get hit number 6 of the night.
I'm not sure what anybody else could have done. If Colby Rasmus was in left field on this ball, does he catch it? I don't know. But it is just uncanny how you can stick a guy out in the outfield, and on the night he goes out there, somebody will hit that tough ball to deal with. And this was one. It hits really toward the bottom of the scoreboard, and yet almost immediately you can see Gaddis was not going to go for it. Not an easy play.
6 hits now for the Sox. De Aza, the batter. He singled and scored. How do you say that in New England? Sox?
Sox.
Okay.
I don't know.
No strike one to De Aza. Well, this player got 500 hits or more for 4 different teams. The Astros are Colt 45s, the Mets, the Expos, and the Tigers. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's Rusty Straub.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
You're right.
So that would have been the question.
That would have been the question.
That was it. Did I ruin it for you there?
No. Same answer. Just a different approach to it.
I think I killed something good, bro.
Strike makes it 1 and 2 to De Aza.
That was a great approach on that one.
Well, we have to find alternative ways of entertaining people with these questions, right?
I saw him get some of those hits with the Tigers.
Oh. He was well into his 40s, right?
Stood right up on home plate. Choked up on the bat, kind of like Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Very quick swing.
And, of course, he reached the big leagues as a teenager with the Colt 45s. Phil Boudreau has done extensive research, and he says he has no infield hits in his career.
I could have gone without research and come up with that answer.
Struck him out. That's number 6.
Yeah, I was about to say, You know, one of the greatest things about a hitter like Rusty Staub, who couldn't run a lick, was that he had all those hits.
Yeah.
Because they all had to be legit.
Oh, yeah. Some good high heat, Ash. 94.
Now the stuff again of Velasquez tonight, exceptional. And hopefully it's just that one glitch inning where the Red Sox pick up 3.
Ryan Hannigan doubled to left and scored in the 3-run Boston third. There's strike one. Well, when we used to go to Montreal, some of us used to get some exercise on
Mount Royal.
Yeah, Mount Royal downtown. And we've told the story many times before, but Larry Durker was up on Mount Royal doing some jogging or walking, and he was passed by this guy who was coming down the mountain with a towel around his neck. He was all bundled up and had a cap on. And Larry passed this guy, and he went about 2 or 3 steps past him and turned around. He said, "Rusty?" And it was Rusty Staub. He said, "Rusty, why are you exercising on the mountain, running up and down Mount Royal when you could be playing tonight?" He said, "Oh, I don't run up the mountain. I take a cab up to the top. I just jog down."
Actually, I was going to say, how did Dirk get up there? What Uber back in those days?
Yeah, it was Uber. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He was an Uber walker.
Gotta find questions you can't Google.
Oh, there's no Googling allowed on these.
Huh?
Is that what people are doing?
See, I didn't realize. I hadn't read the fine print.
We should have told. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 7 for Velasquez. The Red Sox strand a runner at second. In the 4th inning, they're up 3-1. Anderson. Jeff Bagwell hits 2 homers on July 20th, 2003 to become the 35th player in Major League history to reach 400 round trippers. Numbers 399 and 400 both come in Cincinnati off the Reds' Danny Graves.
Those would have played well in the home run derby there.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what a lot of ball games are in Cincinnati.
Well, they sure were for Bagwell, and Lance Berkman also feasted off Reds pitching down through the years.
I don't think the Reds ever got Lance Berkman out, but Jeff Bagwell apparently had some pretty serious pop there. One of the greats.
Evan Gattis leads it off, home 4th inning. Brian Johnson struck out the side with that big curveball working in the 3rd inning. Gattis had bounced into a 4-6-3 double play in the 1st. There's ball 1 to Evan.
May I just say of Jeff Bagwell, I don't know that there was that I've ever known of a player who had more respect from his teammates and those that played against him.
Hey, he's at the game tonight.
Yeah.
And Rachel. Ground ball 3rd. Sandoval guns him down. That's 1 out for Brian Johnson. Jeff Luhnow is receiving a lot of questions from the media about the Astros' approach to trades. Astros hoping to get Jed Lowry back perhaps as soon as next week, according to Brian McTaggart's story at MLB.com. And Luno says we're looking at every avenue. Valbuena looks at ball one. He grounded out, so there could be an effort to get a hitter in addition to a pitcher. 1-1. According to McTaggart's article, Luno said he's not going to trade for a pitcher who will be a free agent at the end of the year, with the expectation they're going to sign him long term. 2 balls and a strike. So it might be a Randy Johnson type trade scenario for the Astros this year.
So now David Price is a free agent at the end of the year?
Yes.
So he would, in effect, be the Randy Johnson right now, right?
He would be the Randy Johnson for a lot of people in this year's crop, yes. And he, according to reports, is going to be made available by Detroit, at least for discussions. That's a dunker into left center, but Betts is over. 2 outs.
And apparently David Price has a dog named Astro.
Yes, that's correct. So what are you reading into that?
He's a big Jetsons fan.
Do we know if Randy Johnson had a dog?
Oh, I would imagine.
We haven't checked that out.
Have you seen that piece on Randy Johnson about his photography pursuits and traveling around the world? And he's a much more intriguing guy than I would have ever guessed as a player.
Yeah, he was private, so we didn't know those things. Conger with a swing. It's 1-1.
Goes backstage with a lot of big time bands and does the photography and mixes and mingles, and I guess that's pretty easy for Randy Johnson. But yeah, he's not sitting at home just enjoying retirement.
He's not eating bonbons, Ash.
No, he doesn't do that. He stays in shape, Brownie.
1-2. What would be the average calorie in a bonbon? Any idea? It's a shot on the line to left field. Ramirez down to make the catch, and that one was laced by Conger. But that's now 8 in a row set down by Brian Johnson, who leads it 3-1.
Every Wednesday night home game is Dollar Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan. And the next Dollar Dog Fiesta is tomorrow when the Astros take on the Red Sox. For more info, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. The Red Sox look to be in a good mood over there, but Probably a little tired after the day of travel that they had. Decided to fly into Houston this morning as opposed to last night where they would have gotten in really early this morning. Instead, they got here about 2:30, landed, came straight to the ballpark. John Farrell was asked about this. He said, sleep studies are done. They say it's better for us to have a good night's rest and then get on the road, and we'll just adjust to the day as we go. But he was asked, are you well rested? And he said, I haven't slept much lately by the way that we're playing, so can't answer that real well.
Pop up by Mookie Betts, caught by Jose Altuve. There's out number one. By the way, Julia, people are not happy with us for these easy questions.
We can't do anything right.
Well, but there was one remark from Chris Gerby. I'm only 23, so you guys have been stumping me each night.
Oh, good.
I'd like a question from someone more recent. Okay. So we have all this pressure on us now.
Well, we stumped him, so he's not Googling. He's not cheating.
No.
That's good.
Dustin Pedroia takes. Pedroia's 0 for 2, and that's ball 1 to him. Gaddis hits over for the left field corner. That one ricochets off foul ground in that corner. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count on a hard hit ball by Pedroia. Fun to watch the two second basemen when these two teams meet. Two of the small players in the game, but the excellent second baseman in the game as well. Pedroia is listed at 5'9", Altuve about 5'6".
Listings are occasionally humorous.
Yes, they are. Off the end of the bat, Evan Gaddis is in left center field. 2 down for Velasquez. And Bogarts will follow.
You see that hand on the side, the slider spin? I would say slider's been good tonight. It hasn't been perfect location time and time again, but I think it's an excellent setup pitch for his fastball. I hope Vince, when it's all said and done, doesn't bail entirely from the changeup.
Xander Bogaerts, the batter. That's in for strike 1. Lance McCullers is down to pitch Thursday night against the Red Sox. Colin McHugh goes tomorrow night. Collins 10-5. Joe Kelly opposes him. Wade Miley will pitch against McCullers Thursday night. In for a strike, and it's 0-2. Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer, pitched in one of the doubleheader games yesterday for the Red Sox. Lance McCullers there. He was the 26th man, which is now the case for a doubleheader. And he's back in the minors. Back to Velasquez. He's back on track with a 1-2-3-5, and it's 3-1 Red Sox.
For all of your support this season, tickets in select areas of Minute Maid Park for all Tuesday to Thursday home games are only $10 for the rest of July. For more information, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/HTownProud.
Chris Carter to right center field, and there's an attempt, but De Aza can't make the catch, so Carter is aboard, and he has snapped an 0 for 20. De Aza laid out for it, came up a little bit short, and it's hit number 2 for Houston.
Now, Chris Carter hasn't had to do this many times for a while. You can see he didn't even know where the baseball was, and then doesn't take off sprinting, and because of that, he winds up at first base. And that's rather unfortunate. You get that leadoff double, it makes a big difference.
De Aza got close. Now L.J. Hose, he lined out to left earlier. There's strike one. He crushed the ball that was caught by Ramirez with 2 men on, after Johnson had back-to-back walks to Conger and Carter. That was a big out at the time, and then Johnson turned the other way and retired 8 in a row, starting with the Hose line drive. Way up. 1 ball, 1 strike. In that Yankee-Baltimore game, after 7, it's now 3-2 New York. Nate Eovaldi starting against Wei-Yin Chen. The Orioles are said to be looking for a starting pitcher. And what team in contention is not looking for a starting pitcher? That's the real question. There's going to be a lot of competition for the starters who are made available, the quality starters. Foul back. As far as we know, as from this list, this working list we compiled tonight, the potential free agents among the starting pitchers who are desirable right now: Johnny Cueto, David Price, Scott Kazmir, Jeff Samardzija. Mike Leake would be probably a tier below them, and Matt Latos would also be below that group. High bouncer goes foul. So you can just see from that there's going to be a lot of competition for these top guys on the list.
For me, David Price is the clear number 1. And it comes at a price, I'm sure.
Pun intended?
Not at all.
Okay. Line shot left field. This time it's not caught. Ramirez backhands the ball deep in the corner, and that is a good play. Carter cannot advance to third. And it's first and second, nobody out on a well-hit ball. So L.J. Hose twice has pulled the ball hard to left field tonight.
The guy who a couple of years ago did well but hit most everything to right field. And so he's showing more pop with the bat. And like you said, at Fresno this year, L.J. was really good. And he seems to be continuing things. But again, Chris Carter could not take the extra base.
2 men on for Jake Marisnick with nobody out. Marisnick hit a fly ball to right. Altuve on deck. Ground ball third. Diving Sandoval from his knees. Pedroia, no double play. Great effort, though, to get 1 out as Sandoval got it to Pedroia. Runners at first and third, 1 out for Altuve now.
That's a nice play to get an out. And I would wonder if you know the speed of Jake Marisnick, there's no way you're getting a double play. It would have been wisest, in my estimation, for Sandoval to hop up and apply a tag or just go to the bag and get that lead out.
Thought? A Carter at third, double play depth for Bogaerts and Pedroia with Altuve batting. Altuve walked, stole a base, and scored in the first. Struck out looking in the third. Marlon Gonzalez on deck. And we look at the game that L.J. Hose has had tonight. He's made sharp contact both times. And that is exactly what the Astros are looking for. Foul back. There's strike 1. They got some good hitting on Sunday. 10 runs on 13 hits. They had some big hitting with men.
in scoring position. They drew 6 walks. They had 20 base runners in that game. Justin Masterson is warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. A lot has been made of the Astros' low .241 batting average, but they're third in runs scored. There's Masterson. If they can just get more contact hitters in that lineup, and Jed Lowry could certainly be one of them very soon, that can really help the attack. That's a lob toss over to first.
Yeah, back on that list of yours of pitchers, who to you comprises the cream at the top?
Well, Hamels, because of the money owed to him, is probably not going to be the answer to that question. I think David Price is number 1. If he's available. Oh, that's, you know, this could be a little throwing problem to first base from the 2 lob tosses we've seen here.
Apparently the wind is coming in from the first base side really hard.
Well, it might make you wonder about stealing a bag. You could steal if you took off on that throw to first. No harder than he throws this one.
Larry Anderson revisited.
And now he just steps back. That's pretty wise. Why waste a lob toss like the 2 that we've seen when the same thing could be accomplished by just stepping back off the rubber and faking? Marisnick, though, has 11 steals and 15 tries. He's going. And here's the throw from Hannigan, drifting, hitting the base runner. Now Carter will score. Marisnick might come home. Here's Marisnick coming to the plate. Ramirez with a throw. 2-run score, and it's tied at 3. Great base running by Jake Marisnick.
Now that's using your head. Pun intended. Wow. Watch this throw drift right into the helmet of Jake, or did it hit? Might have hit the shoulder. They had a better story with the helmet. That's exciting baseball.
Oh, a mad dash around from first. Hit him on the left forearm or near the elbow. And it's an E2 on Hannigan's throw and a stolen base for Marisnick. That's Marisnick's 12th steal of the year. He really made something happen on that mad dash around from first to score the tying run. And now ball 1 to Altuve. It's 2-1 rather. Now it's a strike to even the count at 2-2. Boy, Marisnick very quickly picked up on what was going on with Brian Johnson's throws to first base and decided to challenge the Red Sox. The Astros lead the league in steals. They have 72. Now down for a ball to Altuve. That makes the count full. That's the 54th error for Boston this season. 2-run scoring on the error by Hannigan, his first. Altuve chops it foul.
Pretty much a gift-wrapped pair of runs.
Been very disappointing for the Red Sox, being 42-51 with the high expectations they had coming into this season. Chop foul. His starting pitching, which was revamped over the winter, bringing in lefty Wade Miley for one, Rick Porcello for another. Porcello is 5-10 with a 5.79 ERA. Miley, who goes here Thursday night at 8-8 with a 4.49. That's a walk. Altuve takes his second of the night.
Back to that stolen base by Jake Marisnick. Pretty good pitch to be able to throw on when it's all said and done. I don't know if Xander Bogaerts could have gotten in and taken this ball. It's not like a runner, in this case Marisnick, was coming in with the cleats initially, but obviously it all works out for the Astros.
He looked like a man possessed on that mad dash. How quickly he got up at second base. It's 3-3. Pitching change here in Boston. Masterson has been warming up. Back in a moment.
Right-hander Justin Masterson, who's been a starter but now in the bullpen, and as he comes in here in the 5th inning, Jose Altuve at first. He's 3-2 with a 5.63 ERA.
Masterson, 30 years of age, and like Brownie said, he's been a starter much of his career. In fact, 251 outings, 184 of those have been as a starter. He's compiled 15 complete games over his career, but this year things are different. ERA at 5.63, and that's part of the issue with the Boston Red Sox. The pitching has not been good. Masterson is right in the heart of those issues.
Comparison of the starters tonight. Brian Johnson making his major league debut with those numbers. Vincent Velasquez trying for his first major league win with those numbers.
Yeah, Johnson obviously giving up a couple of unearned runs here in the inning, but I would say, in just pure honesty, looking at the stuff of both guys, no question, Velasquez the guy who is much more impressive.
Down a 3-3 game. Switch hitting Marwin Gonzalez has the advantage of being able to turn around with the right-hander Masterson, relieving the lefty Johnson. Gonzalez 1 for 2, a single to center of the 1st inning. Then he struck out in the 3rd. Double play depth for Bogarts and Pedroia with 1 out in the inning. Masterson was among the free agents signed by the Red Sox. He signed a $9.5 million deal as a free agent last December. Their starters, though, with a collective ERA of 4.84, are dead last in the American League. Clay Buchholz, Ash mentioned, is on the disabled list with an elbow strain. Buchholz 7-7, but he has a 3.26 earned run average. Has had excellent numbers this year. There's strike 1.
And Buchholz had a great start against the Astros in that recent 3-game series in Boston.
Bet he did.
So one more start followed, and that's when the breakdown occurred.
And he had the complete game win. A 6-hitter against Colin McHugh, a 6-1 Boston victory. Marwin takes, it's off the plate, 1-1. Masterson started one of those games as well. That was the opening game of that series, and he did not fare well, giving up 8 hits and 5 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. Started against Dan Straley July 3rd. Carlos Correa is on deck. Almost, yeah, it hit him. Well, Altuve will go to second. Gonzalez hit by the pitch. And with 1 out, it'll be Correa batting. Nathan Lucero out, the head athletic trainer for the Astros, to check on Gonzalez.
Got a shin guard covering up that right shin. Is that where this hit him?
Couldn't tell. Like it was somewhere on the right leg.
Now, once you get to the point where you start wearing a shin guard, you're already hurting. And even if you take it on there, you just continue to abuse yourself. That's what it appears to be with Marwin.
Yep. Well, you know he's not coming out. He's getting a chance to play recently. Very important time for Marwin. In this 3-3 game, here's Correa. He had a sac fly in the 1st. He struck out in the 3rd inning. Masterson, who's 30, was a 2nd-round pick of Boston in 06. They traded him to Cleveland in 09 for Victor Martinez. And got him back through free agency. He's from Kingston, Jamaica. Ball 1 to Correa. Masterson went to San Diego State. Last year he pitched with Cleveland and St. Louis, winding up with a 5.88 ERA, walking 69 in 128 innings. Correa fouls it. 1-1 to count.
I'm wondering if we might see more of the running game here. There's a tendency to not take as much effort in keeping a guy at second base. Altuve loves to pick third.
This would be a good time. And Gaddis is on deck. Pedroia is trying to keep him closer at second. He's near the bag.
Swooping slider goes for ball 2 outside. The Mets are leading Washington 7-2. Washington batting in the bottom of the 9th. Will the Mets part with any of their young pitching?
They've got a chance to throw such a great pitching staff together for the years to come. I'd be surprised if they did.
Foul by Correa, 2-2. Jacob deGrom went 6 tonight, giving up 2 earned runs with no walks and 8 strikeouts. His ERA is 2.18. I don't think he would be the guy they'd trade if they did.
How about his? I believe it was 10 pitches for 3 strikeouts in the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's amazing. He looks like a gem. Pedroia up the middle, so the right side of the infield has possibilities for Correa. He shoots one up the right field line toward the corner. That is a fair ball. That'll score 2. Marlon Gonzalez coming around third. Oh, it bounced out of play. It'll score 1 then. And the Astros have the lead 4-3. Bounced up and then out of play. So Correa, who takes his hitting streak to 6 games, winds up with his 12th double. It's RBI number 25, and that's a big one. Astros in front again by 1.
In an inning like this, it's tough to complain about bad breaks, but that was one. Some guys can make this game look way too easy. And take a look at Carlos Correa just dropping the barrel. It creates that scenario where if you hit the ball on the top portion of the bat, it shoots to right field and drop it right on the line.
Up into the seats to go out of play for the double. Evan Gattis is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball on the ground both times. Little dribbler. Runner coming home. Here's Sandoval with the throw to Brock Hope for the out. And Marlon Gonzalez makes it 5-3. Gattis with the softly hit RBI number 55. Correa went to third on the play.
And then there are guys that just drive in runs, no matter how they hit the baseball. That's Evan Gattis.
Luis Valbuena has grounded out, hit a fly ball to center. Bogarts moves over to the first base side of second for the pull hitting Valbuena. Ball 1 outside. Valbuena is the 8th Astro to bat here in the 5th inning.
Got to watch Valbuena take a lot of batting practice this year. On given days, he'll shoot line drives to left field at will. And he's got that pretty much open left side of the infield. Might take advantage.
Hanley Ramirez coming in toward the left field line. Gets there for the catch to end it. Jake Marisnick made a lot of things happen in this inning. He reached on a force play. He stole second and came on around to score on the throwing error by Hannigan. That tied it. The Astros took the lead 5-3. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Astros lead at 5-3 after their 4-run fifth. Now Vince Velasquez, shooting for his first major league win, faces Big Papi David Ortiz, who's 0 for 2, leading off the sixth. And that misses ball one. Velasquez has retired 5 in a row. His mound opponent Brian Johnson in 4 1/3 innings allowed 3 hits and 4 runs, walking 4, fanning 3. In the air, left center field, Marisnick over to his right. 1 down.
You know, we talked about Vince Velasquez in the first 3 starts on the season, some issues having to throw too many pitches. Kind of started tonight that way. It wasn't because of foul balls, but 21 pitches first inning, 25 in the 3rd inning, but he's settling down nicely.
Ryan Johnson in 87 pitches tonight through 50 strikes. Velasquez trying to conserve his stuff now and make it last. It's Ramirez who struck out twice. Facing him now. Tigers lead the Mariners 8-6 in the bottom of the 7th at Detroit. Well, the Mariners are really dropping back. There's strike 1. Very disappointing year for that Seattle club at 42-51. Same winning percentage as the Red Sox, 452, tied for the worst in the AL. And for Detroit, also a big disappointment so far, 1-1.
Could the Tigers start winning enough right now that it might change their attitude toward the trading deadline as to whether they want to trade David Price and others or hang tight?
They could, and Dave Dombrowski, their general manager, said that in an article today. So the next few days really critical for Detroit and some of the other teams. Fouled away, and it's 1-2. And you know, the Tigers typically do not rebuild in this era. The owner Mike Ilitch up there in years and badly wanting a championship and willing to spend, and he has spent copious amounts of money on that club, but they're sitting at 500 right now.
So all that said, why did they let Max Scherzer get away?
Oh, good question. Well, it was a mere, what, $200 million.
That's all.
Foul back.
You're going to let something like that get between you and the World Championship?
Well, $200 million doesn't buy what it used to 20 years ago.
No, apparently not.
No. Nelson Cruz hit his 22nd of the year for Seattle tonight. J.D. Martinez, number 27. Yoenis Cespedes, number 14. Is he going somewhere in a trade? In tight. Ramirez looks out at the mound. It's 2-2.
I think Ramirez looked out very quickly to see was their intent, and Velasquez was simply in that, man, how'd that pitch happen mode, and I think Hanley immediately understood this was not intentional. But watch the reaction immediately. Hey, what's going on, man?
That fastball fouled away. Still 2-2. Well, if Cespedes is made available, there should be some takers for his services on the open market, right?
He's a good player. And a year ago, he was a big component of the first place Oakland A's team. He got away. The A's got John Lester, and they didn't stop there with their moves, and the A's just plummeted at that point.
They certainly did. Ground ball, and diving Correa can't stop it from going through into left center field for a hit. Marisnick picking it up and getting it back in to hold Ramirez to a 1-out single. Sharply hit grounder. Velasquez had set down 6 in a row.
It's a hot shot that gets under and by the glove of Carlos Correa before he could get to it. It's amazing that high fastball from Velasquez getting hit like this when he's had some down in the zone guys have swung under.
Yes. Lefty Tony Sepp is warming up for Houston. Pablo Sandoval 0 for 2. And Will Harris has joined in, the right-hander. Sandoval rolls one. There's the backhand play. Marlin to second. Correa to the pitcher. Velasquez. Slick. 3-6-1 double play. Great job on that. And we'll take another look with the Astros leading it 5-3.
Of the game. I have Sam and Jennifer with me. They're from BDO, an accounting firm, but there must have been, you said, almost 250 of you guys come out to the game tonight. I have this entire section, so you obviously like your coworkers enough to hang out with them afterwards.
So far.
Yeah, was it a team building thing for you guys?
Yeah, just kind of get together, get to know each other, intermingle, you know.
Stuff. You know that home run balls can head this way, too. You didn't bring it.
Yeah, we've been watching.
Okay.
We've been watching.
Y'all have a great time and keep building your team. Have fun tonight.
There's a home run ball almost. No, it's off the wall. Hank Conger. He made a bid to hit one in the Crawford boxes the way he did in that Rangers series, but settled for a double here, leading off the home 6th inning. Conger would double number 6 of the year. Just as Julia and those ladies were talking about home run balls, he almost obliged.
Well, that's mighty close, and it would be a couple of these oppo jobs for Hank had this gone out in just the last couple of times he's played. Well, that would be a valuable stroke if he can come up with that thing here. Just under the yellow line.
And in this 5-3 game, that's hit number 5 for the Astros. Chris Carter looking. And there's ball 1 to him. He's been on both times with a walk and a single, scored a run. We have a historic game tonight, Ash, in Philadelphia. Tampa Bay 1, Philadelphia 0. That's a final. Nate Carnes beating Aaron Nola. That was the major league debut for Nola. Brad Boxberger getting his 24th save. And Kevin Eschenfelder came in to point out this is the first time in Major League history in interleague play that an American League pitcher has homered for the only run in a game. Nate Carnes.
Impressive stuff.
The last pitcher to do it in the National League was Giovanni Gallardo in 09 with Milwaukee in a 1-0 game. Now the ball goes foul. 1-1. Aaron Nola makes his major league debut in 6 innings, allowing 5 hits, 1 run. The Nate Carnes homer, and loses 1-0. Conger's putting some things together, as you pointed out, with the bat. That's foul back. And he's been getting a little bit more playing time lately. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count with L.J. Hose on deck.
And he's done a nice job catching. The throwing side of the game has been lacking for Hank. But as you say, that offensive side of the game is getting better and better.
Conger brought a .456 slugging percentage into this game tonight. He lined out to left his second time up after drawing a walk. Carter watches that one go. Ball 2. It's Texas 4, Colorado nothing. They're in the middle of the 4th inning. Next time the Astros and the Rangers meet in Arlington, will the Rangers have sold off some players? They are 9 games out right now.
Or will they have acquired some players?
Well, that's interesting too. Foul ball, and Hannigan is staggered by that one.
Because aren't they believed to be in the David Price market?
We were reading that earlier tonight. In fact, even Cole Hamels we were reading earlier. Now John Farrell, and let's see this. Oh, it got him in the helmet there. Catcher's mask.
I don't know if that hockey mask is proving less valuable with foul tips than the old standard.
But that was a direct blow, Ash.
Yeah, it was. Anybody who's been back there has done it, and I never wore that kind of a mask, so I can't speak to that at all. But with the standard mask, generally speaking, it's not much to deal with.
The last American League pitcher to homer in a 1-0 win was Milt Pappas of Baltimore, 1962, of course, well before interleague play. Shot to right center field. Hit hard by Carter toward the bullpen wall. Oh, Chris Carter. 2-run homer to right center, number 16. He has come back with a vengeance tonight. 43 runs batted in for Carter, who started the night 0 for his last 20.
And it's the status of this first base position now with the Astros. When either he or Singleton plays and comes up with anything positive, it kind of makes you feel like maybe we're finding it right now.
7-3 Houston. Now L.J. Hose. He is 1 for 2. This crowd's all stirred up with the Astros getting 4 in the 5th and 2 here in the 6th inning. 385 feet on the drive into the Astros bullpen. Carter hitting his first home run since July 1st against Kansas City's Edinson Volquez 27 at bats ago. Foul tip, 1-2. Things are getting more and more interesting here in a lot of ways before the trade deadline, with one big piece of attention being paid to the first base position for the Astros. More and more different players have been taking ground balls at first. Carter's been out the last few days with a sprained ankle, so A.J. Hinch wants to keep his options open. Hose is down on strikes.
So Chris Carter goes out there tonight testing that ankle. Going to be the DH. Won't have to run on it much. Well, unless you hit a ball that you're not sure if it's going to get out, you should be breaking hard, and that's what Chris does. That's nice to see, though, for Chris. Second hit on the night.
That's going to make it even tougher for A.J. now in his daily lineups. Jake Marisnick, who made some things happen with his legs in the 5th inning with that stolen base, then coming around to score on the error. Take strike one. He's 0 for 2.
You know what, though? The bottom line is, if you get Carter, for example, really swinging it, it'll make it ultimately easy for A.J.
Rock hold. Yes, it will. 2 outs. We'll just write his name in the lineup every night.
Remember last year, second half, that easy swing that just took over? That looked like it. He still supplies the power, though.
Well, Astros fans who followed the club closely last August remember what a rampage Carter had. A flurry of home runs. Jose Altuve has walked twice and scored twice tonight. He's 0 for 1. That's ball 1. In that Rangers game, they're leading 4-0 over the Rockies in the top of the 5th inning. Matt Harrison is pitching well. 1-1. The rumors we read today regarding the Rangers being interested in the Phillies' Cole Hamels centered around the fact that Hamels is under contract for the next 2 to 3 years, depending upon his option, and that's why the Rangers would want him. 1 and 2 because they have Yu Darvish, who's been out all season, under contract for the next couple of years as well. Rangers do have some prospects they can deal. They have a highly rated farm system. Tap to third. That will stay fair and hit the bag. And it'll be picked up by Sandoval for an infield single for Altuve. Hit number 103.
That's a groundskeeper's delight right there. Well, you keep that thing so level at the line that this ball gets on the dirt, sidles up with the chalk, and just rolls. Fine job, fellas.
Well, maybe somebody threw a ball down just alongside the gutter last night at the George Springer bowling outing like that. But it didn't go in the gutter. And here's Marwin Gonzalez now. He's been on twice with a single and was hit by a pitch. Strike for Masterson. Yeah, the thinking being that if the Phillies could get some bidding with the Rangers versus the Astros bidding for Cole Hamels, that might enhance the price they would receive in return for Mr. Hamels. There are all kinds of stories out there now on these trade possibilities. You could probably read several hours a day and entertain yourself that way, should you so choose.
Oliver Stone could supply some angles on these deals for you.
Down and in for a ball, 1-1, and the Red Sox closer Koji Uehara could be a target for teams looking for closers. Also, of course, Aroldis Chapman of Cincinnati could be a major trade target, as could the Padres closer Craig Kimbrell.
Wow.
Now it's foul. 1-2.
How's Chapman on teaching that 100-mile-an-hour fastball?
He probably doesn't want to teach it. He has a commodity no one else has right now as a closer.
That is the, well, that's Billy Wagner-esque and maybe then some.
Yeah. And Chapman just passed the 500 career strikeout plateau earlier than anybody ever has. Foul back. Wagner did that at the time earlier than anybody had, and then Kimbrell came along and broke that mark.
That guy Marwin Gonzalez started a really nice double play. No hesitation whatsoever. And might I say that Vince Velasquez finished it off covering the bag well, just like the first baseman.
Sure did. A lot tougher for a right-handed throwing first baseman to make that play the way Marwin did. He's hit by a pitch again. On a 1-2 count. Painful night for Marwin Gonzalez. Nate Lucero out to look at him. This time we're told it's the left leg.
Marlins going to need the catcher's gear next time. And hopefully that next time is tonight, just at or above that ankle bone. Oh.
He may need some crutches.
Even the Achilles tendon there could be impacted with that location.
Yeah, that looked like it might have caught bone, Ash.
And Marlin probably hurting too much to think all these thoughts, but it's going to occur to him, you got to be kidding me.
Can you limp on both legs?
If you can, Marwin's doing it. Sure, AJ's saying, you know, we've got John Singleton on the bench. We can take care of this, but you know, Marwin is not only Mr. Versatility, but Mr. Tough Guy tonight.
Yes, he is. Lefty Tommy Lane is warming up for the Red Sox. Masterson came in, and the first man he faced was Gonzalez. He hit him with a pitch on the right shin area. There's Lane getting those. Now he's thrown 35 pitches tonight, 23 for strikes. Hannigan is going out, and Correa will be the batter. The Twins and the Angels are underway. No score, bottom of the first inning. That's Kyle Gibson going tonight for Minnesota against Matt Shoemaker for the Angels. The Angels got back-to-back shutouts the first two games of their series with Boston. And they are really putting together a spurt now. 15 out of 18. They have a 2-game lead over the Astros. The Astros came into the night tied for the wild card playoff spot with the Minnesota Twins, both with .543 winning percentages. And there are 2 wild card spots, so they're tied for both of them. There's strike one, and they've been 2 of the great success stories this season, the Twins and the Astros, with their tremendous improvement over last year.
The primary question about the Angels seemed to be their pitching, but you talked about the pitching numbers recently. If they get that kind of pitching, they're going to be tough to run by.
You know, just looking at the Dodger club's starting rotation today, Ash, they need a strong number 3 starter for the playoffs.
That's something.
Yeah. As good as they've been, they have a 3.5-game lead. They have Kershaw and Greinke, and then they do not have a strong number 3 playoff starter.
So even spending that kind of money, teams don't have completed rotations. There's the wild card in the American League, the Twins. And the Astros tied. I'm stunned that the Twins have maintained that kind of play this deep in the season.
Agreed. This one is by the catcher Hannigan. A wild pitch moving both runners along. Altuve to third. Gonzalez to second.
Marwin, be glad you weren't at the plate on that pitch.
Masterson really going through a difficult outing here.
Might be holding on to the slider just a bit too long.
That's his 5th wild pitch of the year. 2-2 to Correa. Gaddis on deck. Foul back. A slider that just kind of spun. It's a big series for the Twins in Anaheim against the Angels. Well, a few weeks ago we were looking at some various odds put together by websites, and the Astros had a lot more favorable ranking among the professionals who do such things than the Twins to hang in there in the race long haul. Foul tip strikeout. That ends the 6th inning, but Houston tacks on 2 on 3 hits, leaving 2. The Astros are up 7-3.
inspirational story of Jose Altuve from little-known prospect to history, making All-Star. And now it's available on iTunes. For more information, visit Astros.com/bigdreams. Here in the 7th, John Singleton replaces Marwin Gonzalez at first base. And A.J. Hinch talking about the first base situation before the game, saying Chris Carter, John Singleton, and Marwin Gonzalez will be there in the foreseeable future. Maybe a platoon situation there. But, hey, today we even saw a couple of other guys taking some grounders at first base. That's Luis Valbuena. And then, Hank Conger as well. A.J. saying half of our position players are getting work at first base right now. So I think we have enough coverage. Jed Lowry, even a guy that could be over there as well. So a lot of options for A.J. Hinch as they move forward, guys.
Yeah, L.J. Hose's move from right field to left field. Colby Rasmus coming in to play right field. John Singleton at first base, as you indicated. And here's Will Harris on the mound. His first pitch is ball 1. 7th inning underway with Brock Holt the batter. Harris 4-1 with a 0.85 ERA.
It's been one of the real gems out of bullpens this year in the American League. Speaking of gems out of the bullpen, I saw Luke Gregerson in there trying to see if he could get in that first base rotation.
You might have noticed innings pitched by Harris, 42 1/3, hits 17. That's a 120 batting average against him. And he was certainly in there for all-star consideration this season. 2 balls and a strike. He worked a scoreless inning Friday night, got his 4th hold of the year. Only Wade Davis has a lower ERA among all major league relievers, 0.44. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Vince Velasquez in 6 innings allowed 7 hits, 3 runs. He did not walk anybody, and he struck out 7. He's in line for his first major league win. Correa to his left out of the shift. And he got him barely. Holt is retired, 1 out.
I think Carlos, if he had that same play to make again, he might get rid of that ball more quickly and put something on the throw. Holt got down the line extremely well.
He did.
I don't think Carlos anticipated that kind of speed, and that was awfully close.
Alejandro De Aza will be the batter. There's a delay now. We looked into the Red Sox dugout. John Farrell warning he wants to review this play at first base.
Yeah, that's not going to surprise me if that turns. I would have to see a better view of that shot at first base, but Holt may have beat that play.
So that prolongs the wait for Vince Velasquez.
He scooped down the line. He didn't hesitate a bit out of the box.
Looks like he's going to be out.
Yeah. You know, had that gone the other way on the original call, I don't know if you overturn it, but I don't think you can overturn that one.
So the delay for Vince Velasquez is all about whether he's a winner for the first time in the major leagues, Ash. He became one of 4 to begin a career with 5 consecutive starts without a decision. And now, in his 7th start, trying to be a winner. But Correa gets his man by an eyelash. That review took very little time. And now skipper John Farrell is out of replay reviews. Alejandro De Aza the batter. He's 1 for 2. Velasquez left with the lead in his first 5 starts. And 2 of those he did not go the 5 innings to qualify for a win. But nonetheless, he's been in this position before and got no decision. And last time out he lost 2-0 with a very good start, 6 1/3 innings, 2 runs. So maybe this will be the night for Vince Velasquez.
Yeah, that can weigh on you at some point. You want to start picking up some W's.
Shift is on for De Aza. 2 balls, no strikes. The composition of the bullpen changed tonight with the designation for assignment of lefty Joe Thatcher. 26,913 the paid attendance. That's pulled, and here's Singleton. He cannot corral it. He made the sliding play, got it in his mitt, then it trickled out and toward the back of the infield. It's ruled a single for De Aza. Altuve might have been able to get to it.
Glove side in that big first baseman's mitt, and yet it hit on the heel of the glove.
Altuve had slipped. Either that or he went into a slide when he saw Singleton going for the ball. Now it's Hannigan batting. Hannigan with a double in 2 trips. Came around to score in the 3-run third for Boston. The Astros got a run in the first. Boston with 3 in the third to take a 3-1 lead. Then Houston with 4 in the fifth and 2 in the sixth. In for a strike for Will Harris. That is just amazing to look at the numbers that Harris has put up this season. This is his 38th appearance. Pat Neshek leads the club with 39. Conger scrambles to keep it out in front. It's 1-1.
Yeah, talking about the catching of Conger, this is an aspect that he's really become good at. Centered that one up nicely.
Eight hits for Boston, 7 for Houston. Boston has the only error tonight. Astros bullpen crew has the second best ERA in the AL. Fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Watch Hank Conger with his blocking skills. This breaking ball bounces far enough in front that it wants to come up, and so catchers tend to stiffen a lot of times. You still want to make sure you get that glove down. When you do put the glove down, body softens as you roll over it. But when it's all said and done, you put that chest protector on it like that, and you've done a heck of a job.
Ground ball Altuve. There's the flip. Correa, the middleman. 4-6-3 double play. 2 in 2 innings. At 7th inning stretch time, the Astros lead the Red Sox 7-3.
Game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 devices with an MLB.TV premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for your details.
Well, this crowd tonight, 26,913, enjoying singing Deep Heart of Texas at the 7th inning stretch. It's been another good night at Minute Maid Park, where the Astros have won 22 of 30. They're 30-17 in this ballpark. They've come from behind, getting 4 in the 5th and 2 in the 6th. And they've built a nice lead of 7-3 over the tired Red Sox, who traveled all day from Anaheim. Now the bottom of the 7th inning. And lefty Tommy Lane comes in. Lane in 35 games, 0-1 with a 3.21 ERA.
One of the few guys in that bullpen for the Red Sox succeeding. He's still walking too many, though. 2-to-1 ratio strikeouts to walks.
Masterson worked an inning and 2/3. He allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, but no walks. 2 hit batters and 2 strikeouts. John Singleton's the batter. Up and in, ball 1. He's in the cleanup spot. Evan Gattis started the night in that spot in left field. He was 0 for 3 with an RBI. 171 for Singleton with 4 runs batted in. John looks at it. It's in for a strike, and that makes it 1-1. A.J. Hinch getting a different team on the field here with the lead for the late innings. He's inserted Colby Rasmus in right field. He's moved L.J. Host to left field. Evan Gattis has come out of the game, and Singleton moving to first for the injured Marwin Gonzalez. 1-2. Tell you what, though, the way Marwin plays first, he need not come out for a defensive replacement.
No, he might be the first. There, as good a first baseman as there is on the club.
Pat Neshek is warming up for Houston. Red Sox bullpen has 11 wins, 13 losses, and some rough sledding along the way. A 3.77 ERA. Singleton fouled it. Craig Breslow is another lefty in the bullpen. Robbie Ross goes left as well. There's Neshek warming up for Houston. Breslow pitched in both ends of the doubleheader yesterday. Lane, who's 30 years old, is from St. Louis. He went to Central Missouri State. He has paid his dues in the minor leagues with 8 seasons. That's now Central Missouri University. That's Jim Crane's school as well. The Mariners lead the Tigers. They got a grand slam from Franco Gutierrez. There's a shot on the ground. Brock Holt backhanding. Now tossing to Lane. Good play, 1 out.
That play winds up being routine when you do it right as a first baseman. And Brock Holt, not known as a first baseman, did it right.
Valbuena's 0 for 3. A crazy game in Detroit with the Mariners, we mentioned, leading at 11-9 now. Franklin Gutierrez home run, the grand slam came off Neftali Feliz. And that Tiger club, boy, just looking for all kinds of pitching help. Shane Green started tonight for Brad Ausmus and allowed 5 earned runs and 4 2/3 innings to the Mariners, who don't hit hard every night. Mariners, the last place club in the AL West at 42-51. Spending all that money on Robinson Cano and then making more moves this past winter. Bitterly disappointing position in the month of July for that team. 2 balls and a strike.
Now that's going to make you really wonder if it's worth spending big money to try to bring a winner, or is it better just do it through your system?
Liner and caught by Sandoval. That's a tough luck swing for Valbuena. He just drops the bat and walks away. He's 0 for 4.
Of course, for years, people said, well, the Yankees just buy themselves world championships, and they have, so it can work both ways.
Sandoval was there to glove it. Hard hit ball for Valbuena. No luck for him. It's Hank Conger. It's a double and a walk, and now hits one out of play. Strike one.
The way that line drive by Valbuena the other way. Kind of what I was talking about real quickly in a previous at bat, that he's got an ability to shoot the ball hard that way. Just don't see it very often.
And that makes it even more frustrating when he does do it, and he appeared to be frustrated after that swing. No balls, 2 strikes for Tom Lane.
You'll see this swing from Luis in batting practice, where he just stays on top and hits it on a line the other way. But you're right, probably people saying, go ahead and shoot some balls that way. You'll get some hits. And then you do that, like you say, great frustration.
1-2. Cubs 4, Reds 4, bottom of the 9th at Great American Ballpark. And some great Americans might be leaving that ballpark very soon if some of these trade rumors are correct. Fly ball out to right center field. De Aza making it a 1-2-3 7th inning, sending this game to the 8th. The Astros in front 7-3.
Performance is powered by Kubota. And it was Vince Velasquez tonight putting it together. A couple of weeks down in the minor leagues, just throwing on the side, comes out here and just starts bringing the gas, putting it in great spots. Gave up 3 in 1 inning, but generally speaking, you'd have to say a great night for Vince and a great shot at picking up that first major league win.
Pat Neshek comes in now. The 8th inning approaching here at Minute Maid Park. He's 3-1 with 1 save and a 2.88 ERA. .21 holds, tied for second in the majors, and Neshek has a 4-run lead here, so not a situation in which he could pick up another hold. That would have to be a little bit closer ball game. 7-4 ball game, he could get a hold. Mookie Betts leads it off. Betts with a 2-run double in the 3rd inning when Boston took a 3-1 lead. Looks at strike 1. Very interesting and athletic player, Mookie Betts. Named for Mookie Blaylock. Junichi Tazawa is warming up for Boston. The NBA player Mookie Blaylock, not Mookie Wilson, who helped to break the Red Sox hearts back in 1986 in the World Series. Marcus Lynn Betts, MLB. That was the plan for him when he was named. Marcus Lynn Betts, Major League Baseball player.
Named after a basketball player. Well, nicknamed at least.
Yeah. Nickname, yeah, you're right. And his mother was quite a bowler. He has bowled 2 300 games, and he was the 2010 High School Bowler of the Year. when he was growing up in Tennessee. He's from Nashville. But baseball proved to be his path to success, and he's become the youngest everyday Red Sox center fielder since Reggie Smith, 1967.
Did they have bonus babies in bowling?
I don't think so.
You have to make the roster and sit there on that plastic seat all year.
Yeah, there's the arsenal of Neshek. But Betts was a 5th-round draft choice in 2011. They paid him $750,000. Line drive, Rasmus, very shallow and right. And he scampers over and picks it off. Boy, was he shallow.
Oh, my goodness. He can play some of the shallowest outfield I have ever witnessed. Kind of like Bad News Bears is going on right here.
Yeah. He's breathing down Altuve's neck, Ash.
It's kind of about where Jose plays on the ship.
And very close to the line. You see the view from left field, and it's Dustin Pedroia. With strike one, he's 0 for 3.
Look at the depth in right field that Colby Rasmus is playing on a former MVP. Oh, Jake Marisnick in center for that matter.
Yes. No balls, 2 strikes. They have crept in closer to the infield.
Now show that defense, and then the question with it: is this defense set up for a former MVP or a current little leaguer?
Oh.
I mean, really, look at this.
Yeah, he's defying him. He's not going to be able to hit it up the right field line past Colby Rasmus. No way. They're taking right center away from him also. Still 0-2. He can have left center. There's a lot of room there.
You know what that says to me with Colby in particular is a great belief that he can go back and get the baseball.
Yeah.
Now, I guess Jake's the same way.
Otherwise, too easy to get burned playing that shallow. Neshek misses. It's 1-2. Cardinals 8, White Sox 5. They're in the top of the 8th. In Chicago, Matt Albers has returned from the DL, and he's pitching right now for the White Sox. Two balls, 2 strikes. Michael Wacha started for St. Louis. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. Carlos Rodon, the White Sox, gave up 7 earnings in 4 innings.
I liked him when we saw him up in Chicago.
Yes. Good slider. Out to the shortstop. Correa charging. Throwing him out. 2 down. Well, there are some strong indications the White Sox might be in a strong sell-off mode.
Well, don't tell me they'd be willing to give up Chris Sale.
No. Samardzija, yes. Alexi Ramirez, maybe. Maybe some others. Bogarts is 2 for 3 with an RBI. You suppose there's a player out there in Major League Baseball whose name has not been in a trade rumor all year?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure there would be a good load of those guys.
There's strike one.
And not because they're untouchable. Just untradeable.
Yeah. There are some of those guys around. No doubt.
It's funny, you'll hear people make up would-be deals, and there'll be some of those untradeable guys involved that we're going to give them on this deal.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to take the lowest ranked minor leaguers and trade them, assemble 3 of them and give them to some team for a major star in the game, right?
This guy's hitting 190 this year at Double-A. We got to send him.
Correa to his left. Smooth. Out number 3. Retiring Bogarts. Bottom of the 8th coming. 7-3 Houston.
Our TXU Energy Power Player of the Game. Who else but Chris Carter? Hammered one to the bullpen in right center field for a big home run in this ball game. Javi Bracamante alertly in position to make the play, but Chris Carter alertly back to the bench and getting some high fives all around. That bat certainly could be utilized here in the second half.
It's quite welcome. Here's Junichi Tazawa. Tazawa 1-3 with a 2.52 ERA, taking over after Lane at a 1.237.
Hey, by the way, Brownie, we had a question come our way on Twitter. Has there ever been a major league team lead the league in home runs without hitting a grand slam? Of course, that's what the Astros are doing this year. The 1958 Cubs hit 182 home runs, none of which were grand slams. And they are the only team ever in the live ball era to turn that crazy trick.
Ernie Banks hit 47 homers that year. Of course, Billy Williams was on that team. That Cubs team was 72 and 82.
Ron Santo on that team as well?
58, no.
A little later.
Yep. Slamless, the Cubs, 58. Chris Carter versus Tazawa here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Carter's had a big night. A walk, a single, and a homer. That one bounces, and it's ball one.
We posed that one to producer Carl Patterson. He knew it right off the top of his head.
He always gets those answers.
It's amazing. Get a life.
They had 5 players with 20 homers or more that year, Ash, but nobody hit a slam.
Now that ballpark, Wrigley Field, once it warms up there and that wind starts blowing out, it's hard to hit a fly ball and keep it in the yard.
1 ball, 1 strike to Carter. Royals lead the Pirates 2-0. Kansas City just got 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Garrett Cole starting for Pittsburgh, gave up those 2 runs. Jason Vargas got the call for Kansas City. He lasted an inning and a third as their starter. 1-2. Kansas City right now is the class of the American League with a .604 winning percentage, 55 wins, 36 losses. The Angels won, the Twins nothing, top of the 3rd in Anaheim. In the dirt for a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Carter. Shoemaker, who hasn't been pitching that well this season for the Angels, has 2 hitless innings. That's quite a home run duo. Trout is not playing tonight. Mike Trout not in the lineup. Albert Pujols is. Well, they played a doubleheader yesterday.
He never plays the day after 5-game winning streaks.
Oh, okay. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, that's going to be an awfully big series here at the end of this the month. And right up to the trade deadline. Boy, you can just imagine the excitement with the Angels here to play the Astros and the July 31st deadline bearing down. Foul back. Arizona leads that homestand. The Astros will be in Kansas City this weekend and then back home to meet the D-backs for 3 before the Angels come in for 3. Most interesting time in baseball.
How have the Astros fared against the Angels this year? Played 10 times between the 2 clubs and 5-5.
Carter bounces back to Tazawa. 1 out. Brett Oberholzer had a good outing last night for Fresno, giving up 2 earned runs in 7 innings. He struck out 7. That was his second straight quality start for the Grizzlies. Fresno now 56-40, won that game 9-2. Tyler White has really lit it up since he was promoted to Fresno. He's hitting .423, 22 for 52, and he's driven in 12 runs in 13 games. L.J. Hose has a single. He's 1 for 3. Fouls it back, strike one. So Hose was called up. We talked about that final game before the All-Star break. He started that game, got 2 hits. The Astros opting for the additional position player and instead of a pitcher. And before the game tonight with the media, A.J. Hinch was indicating that in August that probably would be the case. This team would move back and forth between 13 pitchers and 12 depending on needs at the time. No balls, 2 strikes. Then once September 1st arrives, rosters can be expanded. Luke Gregerson is tuning it up for the Astros in the bullpen. It's 1-2 to L.J. Hose. Brewers lead the Indians 7-1. They're in the middle of the 8th inning in Milwaukee. Matt Garza started for the Brewers and worked 6 scoreless innings. Gene Segura hit his 4th homer. Garza has a 5.23 ERA. Strikeout of L.J. Hose. 2 outs. Colin Moran has heated it up lately for Corpus Christi. He's had 3 straight multi-hit games. And A.J. Reed had a couple of hits last night. Moran had 3. One of these minor leaguers having outstanding seasons. Boy, Reed has just been unbelievable. Moran has been hurt, but now he's put together a nice rush lately. Jake Marisnick is 0 for 3. There's ball 1. It's been a great year in the Astros farm system. Domingo Santana's hitting .321. He's driven in 51 at AAA Las Vegas.
Those minor leaguers are getting close to the last month of their season.
True, their season ends earlier. Playoffs usually start in early September in the minors. Marisnick looks, and it's ball 2. His hustle helped to turn this game around in the 5th inning. The Astros trailed 3-1. He bounced into a force play. There were runners at first and third and 1 out. He took off for second. The throw hit him as he stole a base, carried him into the outfield, and 2 runs scored on the play to tie it. Fouls it back. Then the Astros got 2 more runs in the inning. And they have been in the lead ever since. 2 balls and a strike. Marisnick swings, and that is strike 2. 2-2 to Jake. Now Josh Fields is tuning it out. Tomorrow night it's game 2 of this 3-game series. Joe Kelly will go for Boston against Colin McHugh. Kelly's 2-5 with a .567. McHugh 10-5. .435. Fly ball right center field. That may split the gap. It will. Extra bases. Marisnick around second, still chugging for third, and the throw gets under Pedroia's glove. It's a stand-up triple for Jake Marisnick. 3rd triple of the year.
Love watching this guy run. And early on this season, his bat was a big part of what he was doing. Find this again, and you've got yourself a whale of a center fielder. Big, strong guy, too, that can really run. Right now is when it gets really pretty, that first to third portion of the program.
That's a thoroughbred gear right there. Jose Altuve has been on 3 times. There's strike. And he has an infield hit and 2 walks, 2 runs scored for Jose. Now Marisnick was reeling in stride going around second. That was a gallop. Hit number 8 for the Astros. That matches Boston's total for the night. Off the plate, it's 1-1 to Jose Altuve. Colby Rasmus on deck. Rangers 7, Rockies nothing now. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning in Colorado. And Matt Harrison is shutting out the Rockies. Strike makes it 1-2. The most recent stories about the Rockies do not indicate that Troy Tulowitzki is being considered for a trade. Carlos Gonzalez, maybe.
I'm not sure what Tulo's true value is. When he's playing, he's really good. Doesn't play nearly as many games as you'd like.
Line shot into right field. Altuve has an RBI single. It's 8-3 Houston. Second hit for Altuve. That's his 41st run batted in.
It's starting to look like fun. We just saw a great reaction in the dugout, by the way, as Altuve shows what he does. All that stuff about get a good pitch to hit. I don't know. When Altuve's got it going, he can handle anything. But Marisnick got there in the dugout, and George Springer was all smiles and hugs.
Colby Rasmus bats for the first time. Strike 1. The shift is on, and Pablo Sandoval is playing over on the first base side of second alongside Dustin Pedroia. That leaves Xander Bogaerts as the only infielder between second and third. Sandoval tosses to first. 1 run scoring on 2 hits. We go to the 9th. 8-3 Houston. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B. It started out as a rather tough night for the Astros. Now they lead it 8-3. They had a 1-0 lead after one. Then the Red Sox got 3 in the third. And the Astros put together a 4-run fifth to regain the lead. Now they have some cushion as they call on Josh Fields. We were watching Luke Gregerson warm up, but Fields is the call here in the 9th inning. Ash.
Yeah, a guy that's got the great stuff. Can he run it out there time after time, I guess, is the big question right now. But he's got the type of stuff to be a closer. He's got to also be able to go out there 2 and 3 nights in a row if you're going to be that guy.
David Ortiz leads it off and takes strike 1 in the 9th inning. Ortiz is 0 for 3 tonight. Now Valbuena is going to be shifted even more over toward the normal shortstop position for Ortiz. This is a .234 hitter. It's 1-1. Fields gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in 1 inning Saturday night against Texas when the Rangers won it 7-6. Josh Hamilton had an RBI double off him. Fly ball. Marisnick backing, and oh, what a nice running catch by Jake Marisnick.
David Ortiz can't be pleased, but he also appreciates a fine major league play, and that's what that was by Jake Marisnick. It's a line shot in the gap. Tell you what, he can go get him. And he's long in the end when that's needed.
Marisnick's talents are on full display, and Big Papi applauding that catch. That had some sizzle. Hanley Ramirez is 1 for 3. Well, Marisnick's legs have had an impact on this game tonight. That's ball 1. It's base running in the 5th inning, and then a triple in the 8th and another run scored. How many extra base hits has he robbed this year?
No, there's a lot of really good major league center fielders, but I don't know that any are better than Jake.
Valbuena diving, and he makes a sparkling play. Can you match this?
Josh Fields has to be singing "I love my defense." That is a gem. Otherwise, the Red Sox have a little something cooking here in the inning.
2 hard hit balls, 2 spectacular plays. Now the crowd is up. Pablo Sandoval 0 for 3 with ball 1.
Stay tuned after the game as the studio crew breaks down all the action from tonight's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show presented by Houston Methodist.
Well, we've seen that studio crew out here tonight. Strike to Sandoval.
It's a good-looking bunch of guys.
Oh, yeah.
And ladies.
Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton here at the ballpark tonight. They have abandoned the studio. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's 1-2. Win number 52, perhaps a pitch away for the Astros. 2 years ago, they won 51 games all season. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Notched it up to 70 wins last year. Now how many will it take for a playoff spot? This is game number 95. That'll end it. And the
Astros beat the Red Sox 8-3, a come-from-behind win. Their 23rd come-from-behind win of the year. It started with the legs of Marisnick back in the 5th inning. And the Astros put together some solid defensive work late in this game to nail it down. And they blanked the Red Sox after the 3rd inning when they got their 3. First Major League win for Vince Velasquez tonight, Ash.
He threw really well, too. Very sharp. And I was actually wondering how sharp he might be on this evening. But defense, offense, combining with some fine pitching. And you got a lot of smiles out of the ball club. Kind of a laugher.
Final score, Astros 8, Red Sox 3.